Join us on a remarkable 600-mile train journey through the wonders of northern Spain.
This is amazing. You can see the different landscapes.
This time we will be going off the beaten track to seek out the region's finest cuisine.
Sometimes you are full of sardine.
Sample its rarest delicacies.
The flavor is absolutely amazing.
And soak up its history.
The cider is part of our culture. It's not only a drink, it's how to live it.
We'll meet the people who live and work along this special line.
We've been doing the same since the beginning of the train. It's a custom.
On a train ride that will take you to its highest peaks.
You cannot fail to be totally bowled over by it. It's wow.
And unearth some of its architectural curiosities.
It represents some kind of craziness.
Before you arrive at one of Spain's hidden gems, the astonishing Cathedral's Beach. This is no ordinary railway journey. This is one of the most scenic railways in the world, Spain. And this is where our Spanish railway adventure begins. A few miles from the city of Leon, nestling in the shadow of the great Toledo mountain, is the sleepy station of San Feliz. But once a week, it becomes a hive of activity when an exclusive train is prepared for an extraordinary journey.
This is the El Transcantábrico. It was the first touristic train in Spain. El Transcantábrico is a different way to discover the north of Spain. And the experience is fantastic.
Entering service in 1983, the 250-meter-long, 2.5 meters wide El Transcantábrico is more than just a passenger train. It's a luxury hotel on wheels.
The train has 24 suites with double bed. Breakfast is always on board. We have lunch or dinner on board. They cook all the food in the kitchen car.
When the train is full, we could be around 46 people. Yeah, when it's full, it's a bit of a roller coaster, yeah.
With the luggage loaded and the slippers at the ready, it's time to welcome the passengers on board. 36 French, Spanish, and German travelers. All eager to experience the finest food and best views North Spain has to offer.
The north of Spain is fantastic. The gastronomy, the architecture, the landscape. Everybody, when finished the trip, said the same. It was unforgettable.
And with a clink of the champagne glasses, we're off. Departing San Feliz, we are heading east across Leon, through the Cantabrian Mountains, into the Basque country and the city of Bilbao. From there, we will turn west and follow the rugged Atlantic coastline, slowly winding our way through the beautiful landscapes of Cantabria and Asturias, until we reach our final destination, the breathtaking Cathedral's Beach at Ribadeo in Galicia. With a week to travel the 600-mile route, overnighting in stations along the way, the joy is going to be in the journey. But as the lush green plains of Leon roll by, there's one thing about this train the passengers are going to have to get used to.
It moves quite a lot because of the track, yeah, which is 1 meter, and it's quite narrow, and the stability of the train is not as the same as a conventional train.
¿Un poquito más, caballero?
Sí, bueno, medio basis. People get a little bit dizzy because of the movement. The first day, it may be a bit worse, and it's getting better and better, you know, they get used to it, yeah.
The El Transcantábrico shares this single track with regular commuter trains on one of the longest narrow-gauge railways in Spain. As we begin making our ascent into the Cantabrian Mountains, we're heading along one of the most dramatic parts of the line towards the railway's birthplace, in the tiny town of Sistiana, our first stop. Ever since it opened in 1894, the railway has been at the heart of life here.
People who get to train on a daily basis know everyone from different villages, so they meet at the train and they chat.
But as locals Judith and Barbara know, when the line was constructed, it wasn't really built for passengers at all.
This area, it was full of coal mines, and they wanted to transport the coal from here, from León, to the Basque country. So they decided that the cheapest way of doing it, it was to build a railway.
But determined to keep the price down, they imported a narrow-gauge railway from Britain.
They reduced 60% of the budget for the construction of the train, so it was clever, I guess.
The trains were British, but it was up to Spanish engineers to work out the 300-mile route to the Basque country.
They told me that to design the line, as it was full of mountains, they were sending horses to see how the horses they were going around the mountains. The path, yeah, to decide the path.
Following the horses paid off, and when the line opened, Sistiana became Spain's first railway boom town.
Suddenly, after the station and after the railway, it became a town. It had almost 8,000 inhabitants.
They came from all around Spain to work here in the coal mines. Many immigrants came here.
These days, the coal trains have long gone, but the El Transcantabrico still follows the same route they took from Sistiana to Bilbao. And although we're sharing the line with the regular trains heading to the city, that's where the similarity ends.
Bonjour, Madame and Monsieur. Lunch will be served in the lunch car. Merci.
Today's main course is beef medallions with pureed vegetables, followed by a warm apple tart. All freshly made on board by chef Andres.
The hardest part is knowing the dynamic, how much to work beforehand. One gets better with practice.
With its own special timetable, meal times on board are set to coincide with the best views. And today is no exception. As we cross the epic Ebro viaduct and continue to follow a meandering path set out by horses through the Cantabrian Mountains. On board the rocking and rolling train, it's up to the team of 5 waiters to ensure Chef Andre's creations make it safely to the tables.
The main worry is that you drop something on top of a customer, you know, that is our worst fear, but hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, yeah, it won't happen today.
I am less comfortable when this doesn't move, because sometimes I am very clumsy. Clumsy in English? Clumsy? Patoso? Yes.
After dinner, the train glides into the evening to arrive at our stop for the night at Mercadillo Villasana. And whilst a magician entertains the passengers, Maria and her crew work their magic to get the train ready for the morning.
Now I'm working and finish the report, and 1 hour I go to bed. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, up, and we start the day.
Then we will be off to our next stop to feast on the architectural wonders of Bilbao, the great cultural capital of the Basque country.
It's like an animal that is moving through the city, you know?
It's 8 a.m. on board the El Transcantabrico, our slow train through the wonders of northern Spain.
Sometimes we get stuck.
And it's waiter Vicente's turn to wake up the passengers.
Every morning, we play this bell to announce breakfast starts. We've been doing the same since the beginning of the train, so it's a custom that lasts for a long time.
Now in its 36th year, Spain's first sleeper train has become a well-oiled machine. The 11 staff are all geared up for another day.
This morning I'm in charge of the coffees, so I make the coffees, the teas, and the rest of the things.
And the table is set for the next leg of our journey. This morning, we will be leaving Villassana to explore the architectural delights of Bilbao, in the heart of Basque country, just 25 miles up the track. We're following the winding Ria de Bilbao River, heading through the suburbs towards the city's stunning 14th century centre. But to get an understanding of the history of Bilbao and the Basque country, you don't have to leave the station. What makes this place special for locals like Unai is this epic stained glass window.
Well, it's become a symbol of the city. All over the stained glass window, we can see references to the history of Bilbao, the foundation of it in 1300s. I particularly like the references to mining, because we can't understand the history of Bilbao, and I would say the history of the Basque country without understanding what iron ore meant for the city and for the region.
But when it was made in the 1940s, the window featured the coat of arms of the fascist dictator Franco, and it was seen as a symbol of oppression here.
The Basque country has its own language, a language that could not be spoken, had no official recognition when Franco ruled.
Franco's persecution of the Basque people led separatists to launch a violent campaign for independence. But when Franco died in 1975 and democracy was restored, his coat of arms was replaced.
It's always been a great work of art, so of course it means a lot of things for us, and also I think it's a very nice welcome for all of those coming to visit us.
But at the end of the 1970s, it wasn't just the window here that had to change. The heavy industries that had defined the city were beginning to shut down. So Bilbao took the extraordinary step and decided to rebrand itself. With modern art. This is Puppy by American artist Jeff Koons. Made out of 60,000 living flowers, this giant 42-foot-high West Highland Terrier has stood guard outside the Guggenheim Museum of Modern Art for over 20 years. But when this futuristic £200 million building was first proposed, many believed it would fail. Local artist Jesus witnessed how it transformed Bilbao.
My first time here was in 1977, because I came here to study fine arts, and then I remember this area, this river was full of ships, vessels, warehouse, a huge factory.
Almost 5 square miles of shipyards and foundries were cleared to make way for the museum. And when the titanium and limestone building eventually opened in 1997, critics and locals loved it.
I love, everything is different. It's like an animal that is moving through the city, you know? It's very organic building, mixing with the bridge, mixing with the river, and also with the city, you know?
Today, the Guggenheim is considered to be the most successful piece of modern architecture in the world, bringing in more than 1 million visitors a year to the city. After a busy morning lapping up the culture, it's time to get back on our train. Leaving Bilbao and the Basque country, we're heading west and soon rolling through the beautiful green foothills of Cantabria. As the passengers sit back and relax, it gives Elena, our onboard tour guide, some time to enjoy the journey.
This is amazing. You can see the different landscapes all around the north of Spain, and you can also feel the feeling or the environment of being transported to the beginning of the 20th century.
This afternoon, we've stopped at the quiet rural station of Cabezón de la Sal to explore a 19th century marvel hidden in the woods. This is El Capricho de Gaudí.
It represents some kind of craziness or passion. People say it's made by Lego. If you are a bit younger, people say it's made with Minecraft. If I had to choose only one element or one word to describe this house, is the sunflower. This house is an architectural sunflower, or if you want, this is the house of the sun.
This extraordinary house was the brainchild of one of Spain's most revered architects, Antoni Gaudí.
Gaudí was probably one of the greatest architects of modern history. This is one of the oldest Gaudí houses, built in 1885. El Capricho was built for a man called Máximo de Quijano. Mr. Quijano was an immigrant. He made a big fortune in Cuba, and once he came back, he chose Gaudí to build a house for his retirement. One of the things that I love more about this house is the use of tiles, ceramics. Every single sunflower is different. We have hundreds, thousands of them. The sunflower is not only like a decorative element. The sunflower represents the whole idea of the house. In this building, every room is designed in relation with the position of the sun.
Gaudí filled the house with elaborate windows, but he made sure they did more than let in the sunlight.
So let me show you the magic of this house.
Instead of using counterweights to open the sash windows, Gaudí used bells.
Bells that are producing musical notes. Music that represents the history of the house, the history of the owner, Mr. Quijano, a huge lover of piano. So, well, at the end, it all makes sense.
But sadly, Mr. de Quijano never got to enjoy Gaudí's musical windows. He died a year before the house was completed. We're continuing our journey westward, and some new arrivals have joined us on the train. Retired academic Peter and his wife Angela from Liverpool are here to celebrate their golden wedding anniversary.
Immediate impression is wonderful. I mean, it's just really got style, and it's good, and it rattles along in the way that proper trains should. So it's good. And the scenery, the landscape around is very interesting. I think it's just lovely. And the service and the drinks and all, perfect. Wonderful. Yeah.
And the bathroom is bigger than the other trains we've been on. There's always worry about how small the bathroom is going to be. But the bathroom is brilliant.
After a few hours taking in the Cantabria countryside, we're about to begin a new chapter in our journey.
We cross the border between Cantabria and Asturias. There's a river. One side of the river is Cantabria and the other side is Asturias. Now we are in Asturias. For me, it's the most beautiful region in Spain, not because I am from Asturias, but you have many advantages. You have very close the sea and the mountains. Very few regions in the world can afford that.
We are now traveling through one of Spain's wildest and most mountainous regions. Asturias is home to many rare species, And if you look carefully into the woods streaming past the windows, you might be lucky enough to see one of the rarest animals of all, wolves. Extinct throughout the rest of the country, 2,500 wolves have managed to survive in this part of Spain. And for the past 18 years, Emilio Garcia has been working hard to keep them here.
We are just now in the territory of a wolf pack here in Asturias. Wolf diet, it's very different between packs. Some packs feeds mainly on wild prey, and other packs feeds on livestock.
Wolves are frequently killed by angry farmers, and in order to protect them, Emilio is investigating what the wolves might have been hunting.
I'm trying to find some piece of bones or skin or something that could be used to determine that this is a kill site. Maybe in an area like this, you really know and you are very close to the wolves, maybe 100 meters, 50 meters, and you can't see anything.
After hours of searching, Emilio spots something.
Yeah. Here it is.
It's the remains of a farmer's horse.
Wolves have eaten every single piece of meat, whatever they can have been eaten. This is a full kill by wolves. In the last 3 days, at least one wolf, but probably more wolves, have been here for 2 or 3 days, feeding on this horse.
With dozens more horses grazing nearby, Emilio knows the farmers are likely to take matters into their own hands.
Livestock owners are angry with wolves. They want to solve the problem. They usually want to kill the wolves. It's a very, very complicated issue.
But wolves can roam for hundreds of miles, and there is still a chance this pack could move on and head deeper into the mountains. And that's where we're going, as we head towards one of North Spain's highest peaks. For tour guide Elena, it's one of the highlights of the entire journey.
Tomorrow I like a lot because it's really special to drive into the mountains, and for the guests it's amazing, it's incredible, it's very, very special.
But first, this is where we will be spending the night.
We've arrived in Arriondas. This is the station. We are arriving. We are on the platform. We're going to open the doors. Okay. You can get off the train. It's a beautiful city. And the weather is very mild. Beautiful day.
In the morning, we'll be departing this rather unassuming station and heading up to Asturias' highest peaks to explore one of the jewels of Spain, the epic Picos de Europa.
Everything you could hope for, totally bowled over by it. It's just, wow!
This is the town of Arriondas, in Asturias, northern Spain. It might seem like an unlikely stop for our luxury sightseeing train, the El Transcantabrico. But this ordinary town sits in an extraordinary location, which is only revealed when the mist clears. These are the Picos de Europa, the peaks of Europe. The highest mountains in the Cantabrian range. And this is what we've come to see. The epic Enol Lake, surrounded by pristine alpine pastures. For most, this is the ultimate backdrop for a holiday snap. But it's much more than that for retired academic Peter.
It's a typical glacial landscape. We talk about climate change now, but this is a result of climate change about 30,000 years ago, when all of this would have been solid ice. And so what we've got with the lake is the remnant of what was the ice. And it just gives such a lovely, lovely panorama, doesn't it? I mean, just unbelievable, really.
And for centuries, cattle have been a part of the landscape, as every summer, Asturian farmers leave their herds here to graze.
You know, the sound of the cowbells, the thing that's making the noise, the clangor, is a tooth of a goat. And the tooth of the goat is what clangs against the metal bit. And that's the thing that's there for the shepherds to hear where they are. So when they come in about September, October to collect them all, they listen to the sound of their particular bells, and that's what gets them down there. And it's just amazing, isn't it? When you look at it, you cannot fail to be totally bowled over by it. It's just, wow!
After a morning drinking in the mountain views, it's time to get back on our train. Leaving Ariondas and the mountains behind, we're heading west towards the Bay of Biscay and our next destination, the coastal town of Candas. We're off to sample some of the finest seafood in all of Spain. But first, we're about to meet the Transcantabrico's sister train heading in the opposite direction.
This is Llanes. This is the place we're going to stop, and we cross the other train, the luxury train. Gran Lujo.
The brief stopover has become something of a weekly ritual for the two crews.
Grabando de la tele.
Ah, bueno, pues encantada.
¿Qué tal? O sea, que grabáis todos juntos.
This is the train driver que quiere salir, hombre, Pablo.
This is the engine driver, Pablo. It's a big family.
We spend a lot of time together. Normally we work together sometimes because we don't always work in the same train. We change from train to train. So all the people here have worked together sometime during the season.
She's the best. You only have to have a look and she's the best.
Vale, venga. A ver cuando...
Hugs and kisses and accolades over, and we're back on the track, heading along the rugged Asturian coastline. For thousands of years, the people here relied on fishing for survival. And on one fish in particular, which became so important to inhabitants of the next stop, they hold a special festival each year in its honor. Soon, we're arriving in the pretty seaside town of Candas, just in time for the start. The whole town is dressed in traditional clothes and is packed into the park for the Festival of the Sardine. This big celebration of small fish started in 1970. The highlight of the day is the sardine cooking competition. 7 local restaurants go head-to-head, all hoping to win the coveted Golden Sardine Award. Elaine, the local doctor, has been running the festival for the past 5 years.
We are the biggest chef from Asturias, and today from the south of Spain, from Malaga, who comes here to bring these awards, these fish awards, these sardines awards. And it is a pleasure to me to organize every year this festival.
The town's relationship with sardines goes back to when it was founded in the Middle Ages, but it really took off in the late 19th century when they started to put them in tins. Candas soon became the sardine capital of Spain. 10,000 people worked in the town's 10 canning factories. But since sardine fishing was banned here to protect fish stocks in 2011, all the factories have gone.
We don't fish more sardines, no. But the history of Candas is in the sea. So we need to maintain our traditions.
These days, all the sardines come from Portugal, but the cooking competition is still a big deal. Local restaurateur Marcus is one of the judges.
We want fresh fish, we want the texture, yummy, not so fat, and the exactly point of salt, and the presentation, obviously.
The judges begin working their way round the competitors' stalls.
It's very difficult because each piece is different. Sometimes it's quite difficult with the judge because, you know, are 7 sardines step by step. Sometimes you are full of sardines.
Whilst a traditional Asturian dance band entertains the crowd, the judges make their final deliberations.
It's not easy to know who is better than another. But the jury has got a blind test, and I don't know. I don't used to eat sardines, you know. It's another fish, but not sardines. So I don't know really.
Everyone is waiting with bated breath.
In a few minutes, we told the winner of the contest.
But first, there are prizes for this year's runners-up. Soon, there is only one golden sardine left.
De la 50ª edición del Festival de la Sardina de Candás, Restaurante Casa Repinaldo de Candás. Sardina de oro, entrega el premio a Amelia Fernández, la alcaldesa de Carreño.
And the winner is Angel. But it's not really a surprise. Angel always seems to win.
In the last 10 years, 8 times. The best sardina of Candás.
So, nothing fishy there then. After a night in Candás, we get a leisurely breakfast in the station. This morning, we're heading south towards our next stop, the ancient city of Oviedo, just 25 miles down the line. There's just enough time to finish the coffees, and we're arriving in the Asturian capital. For 1100 years, this city has been an important stop for pilgrims walking the Camino de Santiago, one of Europe's most sacred pilgrimages. And this is what they've come to see. The ancient cathedral of San Salvador. Today, more than 300,000 pilgrims a year still pass through Oviedo on their way to visit the resting place of St. James, 200 miles to the west in Santiago. And the constant flow of pilgrims has given rise to a unique tradition here. This is the Boulevard de la Sidra, the Boulevard of Cider.
100 meters from here, you have the start of all the Santiago's de Compostela ways, or St. James way. That's why I suppose a lot of pilgrims come here, and in the medieval age come here and made their own cider in this part of the city too. And we keep doing the same. Yeah. Mira, pilgrims drinking cider, I told you.
But it's not just pilgrims. For millennia, the locals have been coming to this street for a glass or two of Asturian cider.
Every night is like this one. You have young people, medium age, old people drinking each other. That's why the cider is part of our culture.
Alberto has worked in his family's sidreria all his life.
He's one of the best pouring guy in Asturias.
Cider is most definitely in his blood.
It's the unique cider in the world that you have to pour it
to activate all the flavors and drink in one shot, in one go. Before it gets flat, the taste is much better, and it's much better for the stomach too. Stay. I'm the 5th generation doing and having a restaurant. This is like a traditional. My father, Paco, is one of the, he created this restaurant 21 years ago. I'm the next generation. I hope my daughter is going to keep doing the same with this.
Today, the region's cider industry has become big business, producing a staggering 40 million litres of the stuff a year.
We think that it's very important to keep doing the things that always works. The way of life of Asturian people is the cider and is the food that for us is culture. It's not only drink, it's not only eat, it's more than that.
Now we've soaked in enough Asturian culture, it's time to go. Tomorrow, we will be starting the final leg of our journey. We will be heading into Galicia, to one of Spain's best-kept secrets, to explore the geological wonders and culinary delights of the cathedral's beach.
But the flavor, it's absolutely amazing.
We're on board the El Transcantabrico, and we're beginning the final leg of our week-long journey through northern Spain. The crew are coming to the end of their month-long shift on the train.
Quite happy. Tomorrow I have 3 weeks off, so well, I'm in high spirits. Very good.
This morning, even a minor accident on board is something to laugh about.
They were setting up the tables for the next day. He was walking with 2 or 3 plates in on his hands, yeah. He tripped over and he managed to don't drop the plates. But what happens, actually, is that when the plate hit the floor, he go afterwards with his head. He hit him with his head. That's what happened.
But our trip isn't over yet. There's one more stunning surprise in store. This morning, we'll be traveling westward along the Asturian coast and into Galicia to our final stop at Ribadeo to explore the astonishing cathedral's beach. But as we leave Asturias for the last time, there's one more view to watch out for.
That's the Eos River, which is the natural border between Asturias and Galicia. On that side is Asturias, and now we are already in Galicia.
And we're just a few minutes from our final destination, just over the Galician border.
There we go, there we go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In a few moments we will arrive in Ribadeo.
We've arrived at this ordinary-looking station on the coast of Spain's most westerly region to see something extraordinary. Galicia is famed for having some of the finest beaches in the world. But very few people outside of Spain know about this one. Here, the constant battering of the powerful Atlantic waves has created an astonishing natural wonder, but only a lucky few get to see it. It's only revealed for a few hours at a time at low tide. This is Galicia's hidden geological gem, the breathtaking Cathedral's Beach, a dramatic series of caves and arches that stretch almost half a mile along the coast. And for the last 10 years, Galician piper Albano has been providing a Celtic soundtrack for sightseers here.
The name for this instrument is gaita, okay, it's like a bagpipe in English.
Bagpipes have been the Galician national instrument since the 13th century, but, as Albano has learnt, the traditional piper's outfit wasn't really designed for the beach.
The worst thing is the sun. I'm really hot.
For centuries, this area was known only to the locals. They called it the place of the holy waters. But when Spanish guidebooks in the 1970s started featuring it and renamed it Cathedral Beach, it led to a bit of confusion.
There were people who phoned to the Tourist Information Office to ask about what time is the Mass. There's no Mass in this beach. It's not a cathedral made for a group of priests, because it's made by nature.
But the caves and arches aren't the only natural wonder that are revealed by the low tide. There's a rare local delicacy that grows here, and Mayor Fernando knows just where to find them.
Okay, I'm going to show to you. We are going pass through one of the two most important and famous arches here in the cathedral's beach. The barnacles is a strange animal who lives in this part of the rocks. We can see there are a lot of barnacles.
These are percebes, otherwise known as edible gooseneck barnacles.
It's an animal that is very expensive. You can buy 1 kilogram of barnacles, and the cost is 60 euros per kilo. A very special gift you can offer to your guest, a kilogram of boiled barnacles. It's absolutely banned to collect, to catch them, to eat, except for the authorized people. For us, it's forbidden. But I can catch one, just one. But the flavor, smell and taste like the best of the sea. The flavor is absolutely amazing.
But the tide waits for no man, and with the waves returning, it's time for us to go.
Este vagón ya está.
The luggage is being unloaded. Our trip through northern Spain is coming to an end. On our 600-mile train journey across this little-known part of the country, we've marveled at its architecture and its stunning scenery. We've tasted food cooked by award-winning chefs, drunk cider with the locals, and got a taste of its rich history, all from the comfort of an extraordinary train.
The landscapes we've seen have been terrific, and of course the food. This was gastronomic heaven, first class.